viewers, thanks for watching this video. Today I'm going to discuss a very important issue which is known as career planning and its impact on the students who are leaving the college and universities and entering the practical industry. I'll be taking some live calls and answer those live callers to best of my knowledge and capacity. Stay tuned, watch this space, and do not forget to subscribe my channel, The Explicit Analysis. I'll be waiting for your feedback. Today, I'm going to have a session on career planning, career development, and the corresponding issues and concerns. So, I have three volunteers with me today who are going to ask me different questions related to career planning. As we all know, career planning is a very important aspect in especially in the young aspiring candidates or students who are going to leave their college or university in the next few years, or like they are already completing their college or university studies. So keeping in view, I have called these volunteers who are about to, enter in their practical field. I must say, before I go to a further details, I would like to discuss my background here. I'm a mechatronics and control engineer with 14 years of experience in engineering, project management, business development, sales, and marketing. So I have done a couple of trainings in the past also on systems, standards, ISO management systems, and national productivity or productivity followed by increase, how to increase our productivity on the engineering companies and also on different other areas, which includes lean manufacturing or lean concepts also. So first question I would like to ask Danish, if you have any question for me, I'm happy to give you an answer.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you, Shubert? Are you fine?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I'm fine, perfectly fine. So what's your question?
I am Dansila from Pakistan. I am CF analyst and doing job Origa Chemical Enterprise as a accounts manager. So I have a question with you that first of all, what is meant by career? In your opinion, what's how we can define the career? And the next thing is that normally there are two opinions that parents should plan the career of a kid. The other opinion is should a kid plan his own career? What's your opinion in this? That kids should plan his own career, or the parent impose their planning upon the career of a kid. And the third one is that at what stage of life a kid is psychologically mature enough to plan his career.
Very good question. Danish, I must say a very good question and to the very valid and to the point question by you. So thank you for asking this. Your first part of the question is career planning. So by career, like I mean to say, it is basically, it defines that what are the actions you are going to do with your career, like a making of an actionable plan to determine what you are going to do in life. So in a very simple words, it basically comprises, it starts when you are in your school and about to enter the college. By that time, you already grown up, you understand the difference between right and wrong. What are the areas, which motivates you? What are the areas where you should like go towards, or what passionates you, or what you are like, where you have the interest. These all things by the end of your school life and about when you enter the college life, you have a fair amount of idea about these things. So in my view, this is the right spot where you should start planning your career, that where I want to go. Like there is no right and wrong, there is no good or bad kind of a career is a career, and at the end of the day, like your career and your choices can be different from me. Like my career path or choices can be different from anybody else. The second part, the second part of your question, which you asked, that should a parents design the career of their kids, or it's up to the kids? It's a very tricky question. Keeping in view the societal values in Pakistan, it often happens that the interest or the generic interest of the kids is different, whereas their parents wants them to go to a different field. I must say, like I wanted to do, in my case, I wanted to go for like an administration or a business degree. But at the same time, like my parents always used to say that they wanted to see an engineer in their family. So like, you should do engineering and all that kind of an aspect. But like, keeping in view, like if the parents ask you and you do not have an interest in that area, you should always refer to your mentors, your family friends, all the other people in that field, that if this field is okay. Because the first thing in the career planning is the self evaluation. If you do the self evaluation, which is like a self assessment, which is like, what are my motivation, my passions, where I like to see myself after 5 years or 10 years. If you think you are not a fit in what your parents choose for you, so that is the right time where you just like, discuss with your parents that, not, this is something I want to do. I want to go in that field. For example, you want to go for accounting, and if somebody asks you to start doing arts, or go for medicines or something like that, you are not going to do justice with your talent. You are not going to do justice with your skills. So career planning is the first and foremost step, in determining in shaping up your life, that what you are going to do in life in the years to come. So in my view, this all planning has to happen during the 2 years when you study in your college, especially in first year, second years, or O levels or A levels, based on the things like, what we see in Pakistan.
Okay, thank you.
So I would like to invite Hasib or Ehsan, any second question you have?
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me today. And I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Hasib, and I just did bachelor's in accounting and finance from the prestigious university in Pakistan. So I want to ask you a question. Like, often we have seen that we are in the wrong place and we want to do business studies, but we ending up like engineering studies or in the area of interest, like we don't have any kind of passion or motivation. How would you suggest that? How can we upgrade ourselves, or how can we, make a switch? What do you recommend? Or what do you suggest?
Hasib, this is a very serious, and I must say, first of all, this is a very good question, but this is also a very serious part of our discussion. And definitely, we are not going to cover this whole conversation in like 10 or 15 minutes session, but this is more based upon, like the values or the path which we are choosing. For example, you have already done your bachelor's in accounting and finance, and if you are not feeling motivated to do the studies or to do the job in accounting and finance, it means that we have not chosen the right path at the first place when we are in college. Maybe at that time we have taken some pressures from the family to start this thing or go for that thing, but your mind may be in something else. There are always pros and cons of everything we take. And if you have already done the accounting and finance and you want to develop yourself in another career, I must say there are still like many opportunities for you in the years to come, where you can develop and progress your career in any other areas. First of all, I must say you should do at least couple of years work in your respective field, like which is accounting and finance in this case. Like you have done a bachelor's, and if you want to be an accounting manager, nobody is going to give you an accounting manager job until you have like a couple of years experience or you have worked in a reputable big organization. So the first and foremost thing is how the companies works, how the company operates. In order to go for that, you need to spend at least couple of years in a practical industry where at least you get to know the basics, where you get to know how the company operates, how the company works. And once you able to determine the basic operating like work procedures or standard practices of that industry, then afterwards is the right time where you want to change your career. For example, if you are interested in human resources, you can do some kind of a diploma or certificate in human resources and you can change your field. But at this stage, when you have already done the bachelor's and go for another certificate of diploma, it is not going to add any value. So the best thing in your scenario or in anybody's scenario, once they are not feeling motivated after doing their studies of bachelor's or master's, I must say they should go for their like field which they have studied during their university for at least couple of years to have an idea how the things works. And after that, they should like seek a further certification or upskilling or upgrading to jump into other areas. So coming back to the second part of your question, Hasib, is upgrading or training and development is a very important part of any professional career. So in order to jump to a new field from your existing field, you always need to get some certifications and training by the recognized industry leaders. And that is also a way, like to jump into the new field from the field where you're already working or where you feel that you are stagnant. You don't see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's the easiest way. Now, also in terms of training and development, I must say that you need to ensure that you are getting the right kind of a training from the right people in the industry. So as I mentioned, the training and development is a very important part of a career switch or a career change if you want to do. So when you go for any kind of a certification or training also, you need to check and ensure the profile of the trainer, that how many years they have spent in the practical field, what is their practical experience, and these kind of a things. Like if it is just about the theoretical or a theoretical covering of the portion, then I must say, like you avoid to get trained on those lines, because when you go to the field and when you explore yourself in the field, and if you do not have the training or certification by the technical aspects or by the technical people, you will again struggle in the new field or area. So that is basically an answer to your question. Yes, we can easily change our field. We can switch to a new field. But first of all, as it is suggested, you get little bit experience in your own field, and afterwards upskill yourself, do some kind of skills assessment or training or certification, and jump to the new field. There is always an opportunities. So can I take the next question?
Yes. Thank you, Usman. My question is about motivational sessions. एक जो मोटिवेशनल सेशंस है वो आपके करियर डेवलपमेंट में कितना रोल प्ले करते हैं, और दूसरा ये कि अगर देखें कि एक इंसान है वो एक फील्ड चूज करता है लेकिन उसमें वो स्ट्रगल करता है बहुत ज्यादा, बार बार वो अनसक्सेसफुल हो रहा है, और कुछ लोग डिसहार्ट होके छोड़ देते हैं फील्ड, तो उसमें मोटिवेशनल सेशंस जो है वो क्या रोल प्ले करते हैं, इसके बारे में आपकी क्या राय है?
जी, बहुत शुक्रिया इस क्वेश्चन के लिए। आपका क्वेश्चन बहुत ही वैलिड है। सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको इसके बारे में इतना ही सिर्फ कहूंगा कि मोटिवेशनल सेशंस जो है ना वो आपको तभी हेल्प आउट करते हैं जब आपने अपनी सेल्फ असेसमेंट जो है ना वो की हो। देखें, करियर प्लानिंग या जो है आपकी जो मोटिवेशन है जो किसी भी फील्ड या किसी भी एरिया में जाने की, वो 6 चीजों के ऊपर होती है। उसमें सबसे पहले चीज होती है कि सेल्फ असेसमेंट। Have you already determined where you want to go? The second thing is investigation or research, that what is the suitable area for me, where I want to go. I mean, you may want to become a doctor, but like you do not have an aptitude of reading up or studying up biology. So without that, you cannot become a doctor. You have the very good skills of becoming an arts person or arts let's say mentor, but you have a very good mathematical skills. So where you want to go, you want to go there or you want to go. So if it's more like a if and buts. Motivational sessions, they help you a lot, but you need to determine first what you want to do, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, where I see the opportunities, what are the pros and cons which I'm facing in this area. Then like motivation sessions help you. And also, who are the motivational speakers, how much time, like this is more or less the same thing what I was replying to Haseeb, how much time they have spent in their own field, those motivational speakers. Do they have a practical knowledge, or they are just going through the slides, PowerPoint slides, and reading some theory books and coming to you? So these areas are very important to determine also, like that we should go for the motivational speaker sessions, or like, or whether they help or not. The second part of your question is that if you are not successful and you are not getting the different job offers or opportunities, or if you are disheartened, how to lift you up. Again, I will say here, Ehsan, nobody is going to lift you up, or nobody is going to do any kind of efforts for you unless you are ready to take yourself to the right path. You are trying to upskill yourself with your efforts and with your, like preparations and things. There are always things in which somebody can help you, can guide you, can mentor you, can support you. But at the end of the day, it is you who needs to determine what motivates me. Like, I would like to quote here an example. In Pakistan, we see like many people who are studying in colleges or going to the universities, their parents sometimes force them, oh, your cousin is doing ABC course, you should do that, because that course will bring you a 20,000 rupees job or 40,000 rupees job. But like your skills and your mental aptitude and your, like what I can say, talent is somewhere else. Your talent may be that you want to do a self-employment or a kind of a business where you think that you can grow yourself in a better way as compared to the people they are giving you an example or they are referring to you. So what are you going to do in that case? You will listen to the parents' advice, or you will do something on your own. Most of the time we just listen to our parents advice, and then afterwards we do like a job of 20,000 or 30,000 rupees and spend some years, and then afterwards we try to change our career, like go to a different path. So that is how it works. So at some point we feel that we are not motivated enough because this is not the right path which we have chosen for us. At that time, we chosen out of different circumstances or different pressures, but that's not where we wanted to be, right or not? But having said so, this is still, like workable. This is manageable. You can still, work on your skills. You can upgrade your skills. You need to see that what are the options. So you can always change your field, but again, there are some if and buts. What you need to do, you need to upskill yourself. You need to attend some sessions, have a further support sessions with your colleagues, with your family and friends. What went wrong? How we can achieve, like our goals of getting to the right track and right path. What are the steps, in order to get to a new industry where we can upskill ourselves. Again, as I have mentioned to Haseeb, that you can like do some certifications and trainings, but more than that, you need to be ready in order to do some freelance work, or do some paid internships or unpaid internships to get to those industries. So these are basically some tips, tricks, and tools which will get you, to the right industry. And if you are not motivated, or if you are not feel confident about your current scope of work or current level of work.